And we're back, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. And today I'm going to review Heroes of the Broken Land. And Heroes of the Broken Land is a genre-blending game as it combines turn-based strategy with grid-based RPG dungeon crawling. Now, that's a real mouthful, I realize, so let's break it down. Now, on starting the game, you can choose a small world or a larger world, much like in Civilization, depending on whether you want a quick game or just a very long game, or something in between. You can choose the difficulty or fiddle around with all kinds of different parameters and options to your heart's content. So this game you can really customize to your taste. Now next up, you create a party of 4 characters. There are a bunch of classes you can choose from, like a fighter, a rogue, a mage, a priest, and all that, and each will have their own spells and their own characteristics. When done, you will see this sort of unexplored world map, again much like Civilization, with your little starting town at the center that serves sort of as a base of operations. Next up, you will explore the world, much again in the style of Civilization, and villages will ask you for help with killing monsters that have been infesting a nearby dungeon or a tower or any other location on the top map. Now if you enter such a place, then you will actually start a dungeon crawling bit. Now the dungeon crawling is very similar to old school games like Eye of the Beholder and Dungeon Master, which means that you move one step at a time. You kill monsters, you collect gold, as well as useful items and weapons and gear, and also crystals. Now, what's great about this game, and this is really essential, is that once you are engaged in combat, you use the mouse and hover over an enemy. The game tells you the number of hit points that the enemy has, so you actually get a sense of what a weapon or a spell does to the enemy. And this is really sorely missing in a more recent game like Arc Vaporum, the steampunk dungeon crawler game that didn't have that. So you were just fighting, but you never knew how much hit points the enemy had. So it was really random. Not this game. You know what you're doing. You know what works, what spell to use, what weapon is best. And as you do this, you level up your characters, outfit them with the best gear that you've just found, and move to the next location on the map. Now, the gold and the crystals that you've sort of gathered can be used to expand your town with all kinds of buildings, and you can also upgrade these buildings later on. And buildings can generate gold or allow you to buy and sell new items. Again, you can outfit your characters with new items and so forth and so forth. So there's really a lot of stuff you can do in this game. And as you progress, more characters, more adventurers will flock to your town, so you can start a second party and roam the land. So you'll be moving different units on the top map to different locations, which is great. Now, so far I've not talked about the graphics. Reason being that this is not a game you should judge by its cover. It's another way of saying it doesn't look like much, unfortunately. I do think it looks charming, sort of low-res, little childish, very simple animations. And there's very little in terms of sound effect. Just when you fight monsters, you'll hear the occasional slash and the sort of an effect for a spell, but it's not a lot. And there's just one sort of piano piece that you'll hear constantly in the background. And it becomes a bit irritating, I guess. Now, any other complaints? Well, sort of the random nature of the dungeons start to become somewhat repetitive, as you'll see the same kinds of tunnels and corridors, and you'll fight enemies and variations of the same kinds of enemies you've seen before, and this did not really hold my interest that long because of that. Still, I think that the genre blending nature of this game is really genius, and it really breaks away from the dungeon crawler of old and adds a lot of new stuff, new elements that actually make sense, the use of resources that you've gathered from the dungeon crawling to expand your town, the possibility of selling abundant stuff for gold, using the gold to buy new stuff, having multiple groups of heroes wandering the world. And there's just so much to like here, so much talent in terms of game design here. And I think this game is made by one person, and he came up with a great concept, I think. He just needed an artist to sell his game, basically, have some really good graphics in there, but it's not there. And I've been looking for this guy, whether he's done more stuff, but it seems like this is the only game that he has developed, and still hoping for something new from this guy. Hopefully he'll get a budget, or he's doing a Kickstarter or whatever. I really want to encourage this guy to do more, to work on the next game. And so if he sees this, well, man, I've enjoyed your game and hope you'll do more in the future. So that's it for me. Heroes of the Broken Land. Just buy it. You can get it cheap on sales on Steam, and just play it and experience it, and you'll probably like it because of the concept and the the mixture of the genres. So let me know what you think. I'll be rambling. See you next time.